What's up, the boxing world? Welcome to Strictly Boxing with Derek Poppy Rolon. Man, today, man, I got a well-renowned boxing coach with us, man, and he is Oleksandr Usyk's first trainer out of the Olympics as a professional. What's up, brother Ali Bashir? What's up, brother?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
So how's everything, man? How did you think your boy? Well, you responded to me in terms of you called up my what I was talking about with Usyk and Fury about the knockdown, and you hit me on my phone. I saw you had said that it was when somebody fall into the ropes. That's a knockdown.
Yes,
How
it's
did that count?
considered. It's considered. It's universally considered as a knockdown. If he sags, falls into the ropes, and the rope supports his balance, it's considered a knockdown.
So the eight count was official.
The 8 count was official, but the conversation after the 8 count, I don't know what that was about. It took him 8 9 seconds after the 8 count. The referee stayed there talking, communicate with him. I don't know what he's trying to get across, but I think it was wrong. I think it saved Fury his standing in the fight. I think it should have been considered a TKO.
You think he should have stopped it?
Yes.
Well, when we had a conversation.
Well, I thought he could have and should have stopped it prior to the knockdown because Usyk was banging Fury from pillar to post, and at one point, Fury turned his head away from Usyk, which signals the fight is over in any fight.
Yeah, I heard that before. But I hate to beg to differ with you in terms of this right here because I've got to side with Harvey Dow. He said on this level of fighting, he don't want no uncertain calls. He wanted to be let these guys fight.
It does not matter. Harvey Dock or anybody else doesn't make the rules. If a boxer turns his back at any point, at any length against the other fighter, even for a minute, signals the fight is over because then that's when you enter the danger zone with fighters and get seriously hurt.
Well, I did a little research and I found out that you trained Oleksandr Usyk for his first 10 pro fights, man.
11 pro fights.
His first 11 pro fights. How did that go, man? How did that start?
He wooed me to come into Ukraine. I lived there. I lived in Ukraine, Kiev, Ukraine, the capital. I lived there for 10 years during the process of training Usyk. I had already trained Vladimir Klitschko, but Usyk said, come here to train me. So I moved to Ukraine.
So you moved from Newark, New Jersey to Ukraine, left your family and everything to sacrifice your career as a boxing coach with Oleksandr Usyk.
Yes. I came back, 2 months at a time to be with my wife, and then I'd go back.
Wow, man, your wife must be a very understanding person.
Yeah,
well, they must have offered you a lot of money. I heard that the first time they offered it to you, turned it down, though.
I turned it down the first time.
Why?
I had my hands full. I was training Eddie Chambers. I was training Vladimir Klitschko and a couple other fighters. So, I didn't take it serious at first, Even though he was an Olympic gold medalist, I just don't believe that I can really do a good job training multi-fighters at one time.
So you're saying an Olympic gold medal, cruiserweight at the time, he comes out and he's a professional trainer and you turned it down?
I turned it down because I was preoccupied with other fighters.
So that second offer must have been very, very big.
Well, the second offer, I said, this guy really is showing that he wants me there, so yeah, I'll go and do it. He showed that, I want you to train me. Because he was an Olympic gold medalist, he could have had anybody and their mother to train me.
Right.
And this is the second time he came back and said, hey, look, come and work with me, And I said, okay.
You moved all the way to Ukraine to train.
I moved to Ukraine.
How did you get them to undefeated and the crew? Did he win the title under you?
He won the title. He won the cruiserweight championship with me.
Wow. Okay. So how did that relationship end? How did that go?
To this day, I really don't know what happened. I got a text one day that said your services are no longer needed. I think that there was some behind the scene things that was going on behind my back, telling him, hey, you don't need this guy. Usual things that go on when big money starts. A whole lot of stuff.
Right. Big money start getting big.
Yeah.
But you know, the trainers always get a bad deal because there's no contracts with trainers, you know? So trainers can teach you something, and then when they teach you, you don't need them because you already know. You ain't gonna forget what they taught you.
Yeah.
So you don't need
you don't get that back.
You don't get that back.
I think that, you know, like I said before, I think that boxing needs a czar. A czar is one mind over all the commissions throughout the United States, throughout boxing. You know, you have a czar for football, baseball, and things like that there, but nobody cares about boxing the way they care about these other sports.
Right.
So
But it's a tricky game, I'll give you that. But it's kind of like me, you know, when you were telling me this story earlier, I was thinking about my brother. You know, my brother, he real smart guy, man. And if he needs some housework done, he'll call a guy to come over and he let the guy look at what he's gonna do to give him a free estimate, and he figure out like how you gonna do that. Well, I'm gonna do this here, I'm gonna do that right there, I'm gonna make that happen that way, and I'm gonna put that over there. And he said, okay, I'll call you later. And he'd go down there and do what the guy told him. So that's kind of like that, you know, with you go in there, you teach them, you train them, you get them ready, and then they don't need you no more. They got the information they need. That's kind of unfair. I think that a lot of the coaches are unfair with that.
I think that the commissions throughout the United States need to safeguard the boxing trainers, give them more leverage when they're training the boxers, because now you got Derek James and this young man.
James and Spence. Yeah.
And they're fighting now.
But it's kind of difficult. It's hard to govern that.
James has been with Spence from the very beginning.
But it's hard to govern that because in order for the fighter and the trainer to work, they got to be on good terms. It got to be a good relationship.
Right.
So if the relationship, if something happens, then they can't continue it. We've seen, and I mean, you had a conversation before. We've seen fathers and sons not be able to do that. So
yeah. You know, Howard Davis was a good friend of mine. And Howard Davis told me, he said, one of the hardest things that he ever did as a boxer was to walk into his father's room and say, hey, Dad, I got to get another trainer. He said, that broke my heart to do that.
Right.
But I knew it was essential at that point that I do that. I must do it. So he said, and I think his father used to call him Lil John. Said, Lil John, do what you have to do. He said his father turned back over and went to sleep. You know, he said, but he knew his father, it bothered his father, you know, so sometimes. Yeah,
I met with Roy Jones a couple of years ago. Me and Roy Jones sat down. Roy Jones told me the exact same thing. And he said, you know, he knew he was going to have to, you know, to get what he wanted. He knew he had to go past his father. So the trainers are not permanent, but by training him, you were able to pick up other fighters and things. Is that correct?
Yes. That attracted other fighters to me. And the fact that I trained Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko, when I say trained them, I wasn't on record as the trainer, but they got tidbits from me throughout those training camps.
Right.
They'd come and sit down and talk to me and pick my brain. And I trained. When I met Lennox Lewis after he retired. I met him in London. I was there for another fight, and he came and introduced his wife to me as his trainer.
Okay.
You know, this is my trainer.
Right.
This is my wife. You know, and I was really happy with that deal.
I'm gonna ask you a personal question. Like, see if this right here, because this got to be the hardest question you can answer, man. For you to sacrifice your marriage, your family, life to go over, sacrifice 10 years into Ukraine.
Yeah.
You know, it must have been a big offer. Your wife must be a very understanding woman, man. How was that with your family, man?
I often sit down and I talk to myself, and I said, you know, just like you asked me this question now, if I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't do it, because I miss weddings, I miss funerals, I miss birthdays, I miss anniversaries, I miss funerals, I miss. And sometimes my daughter questions said, Dad, you wasn't here for this, you wasn't here for that, you wasn't here for this, and all I could do is look at her and say, look, I'm sorry, but I had to try to get money to support you all.
Yeah.
To make
So
sure
sending the money, to make sure
you all had a roof over your head, to make sure food in your stomach and stuff. You know, if I had to do all over again, daughter, I wouldn't do it. I would do it differently. Everybody, 20/20 hindsight is never wrong.
That's right.
20/20 hindsight is always on point.
Yeah.
You know,
look back,
if
look
I
back.
had
It's easy to look back. Yeah.
and when you get older and you look back on your life, you say, damn, I should have, if I would have, should have, could have.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's too late then, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, my wife died 2 years ago. We spent 43 years together.
Right. So it might have been a blessing that they came out and they sent you a letter after 10 years, and said,
No, it wasn't even 10 years. We stayed together for 3 years and 6 months, and I got a text saying that your services will no longer be needed. But I thought that I said, damn, that's all I'm worth is a text. I thought that Oleksandr Usyk or somebody from the camp should say, look, sit down to dinner and say, look, man, we want to move on. We want to move in a different direction. I can understand that. People grow, people change.
Right.
But do it admirably. Do it
right.
respectfully. Don't send a text to somebody.
Yeah. How did what is it? Is there any contact between the family, or how do you feel when you see him become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world?
I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of his achievements because he got hurt a couple of times, seriously enough. He got hurt.
Yeah.
You could see him
He
wobble.
was determined.
But he was determined. He,
Right.
and that's what I had got from him. So I was pretty proud of it. I don't harbor any bad thoughts about it because that's life.
Right.
That's life. I figure that everything that happens in this life happens for a reason. So I say, hey, look, all well and good. I was happy to see him win. In fact, I had did 3 or 4 pre-fight interviews, and I said that I expected Usyk to win, and I also expected him to stop Fury late. That's what I said in those interviews.
It almost happened.
It did happen, but it was prevented by this inept referee.
Well, listen, man, this is Derek Parker. We got a world-renowned boxing trainer, Oleksandr Usyk's first trainer out of the Olympics, Ali Bashir, out of Newark, New Jersey, man. He speaks out about the fight. Very proud of Oleksandr Usyk. This is Derek Parker on Strictly Boxing. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like the channel, and I appreciate your comments. Peace.